What's up, everybody? Good late afternoon or early evening for some of you. And it's time for Snap Count Monday. We're doing it a little later than usual today. And I gotta tell you, I didn't hold off on it because I was disappointed in the results. Let me tell you, this was an overall really, really good Snap Count Monday for multiple reasons. Honestly, when you really think about it, after having the opportunity to really think about yesterday's game, yeah, we lost, and that's always going to be bad. You never want to lose. But the things that happened within that loss are almost encouraging. In many ways, I think we could say that this loss was better than some wins we've experienced over the last several years. And I don't know if that's ever really possible for a loss to be better than a win, but some of the signs we got were so encouraging that I almost wonder if I would rather have a game like this than a game like, I don't know, to a certain extent, beating Carolina earlier this year, or going back to last year, having some of the struggle bus wins you had against the Rams. I don't know if we can go that far, but there was some really good stuff coming out of this game in terms of snap counts. So let's dive in here and take a look, starting with the total snap count on offense. And this is where it starts. We had 74 snaps on offense. Keep that number in your head as we go forward here, but we had 74 snaps on offense. That'll be relevant in a few minutes here. But one interesting thing that did happen in this game that I think is going to be somewhat disliked by some people. Personally, I'm a little more ambivalent to it, is that K9 got a massive majority of those snaps at running back. He played 56 snaps, Charbonnet had 18 snaps, and DJ Dallas had 4. So this might be a little excessive, but this is kind of what I expected, honestly. We think that K9 is the best running back on this team, so we want him on the field as much as possible. I don't know if we need to have him on the field this much, but we feel like he's just a much better player than Charbonnet. So your mileage may vary here, but 56 snaps. Let's actually zoom in just a little bit here. We can afford to do that. Yeah, 56 snaps. Charbonnet, 18 snaps. I don't know if we need to be that out of whack, but again, this is just an instance where a coach wants what he feels are his best players out on the field as much as possible. So we'll see if this gets corrected a little bit in future games. But Walker, I mean, he's just far and away the guy that we like the best here. And DJ Dallas picks up whatever is left at the end. All right, wide receiver, interesting splits here. DK Metcalf got injured and missed a drive or two. He had 58 snaps still, leading the team. So he's still getting most of the action at wide receiver for this squad. And Tyler Lockett's right behind him with 57. But JSN, for the first time this year, gets more than 40 snaps. In fact, he had more than 50 snaps with 53. So with Charles Cross coming back, you see that JSN's able to get on the field a little bit more. Now, part of the reason why he got on the field more was because we had more snaps. But even within that, he was able to actually be utilized a higher percentage as well. So you take a look at this. Metcalf 80%, Lockett 80%, and JSN now up to about 57%. Obviously, there's still more work to be done to get him to the point where he's worthy of being a first-round pick. You want him on the field as much as possible if you're going to spend that first-round pick on him, and you feel like he's playing well, which advanced stats say that he is playing well in terms of the ability to get open. But this is the Charles Cross effect. And you could argue we jumped the gun a little bit here. That's possible because we still had Curhan out there. But this is the offense as it was intended to be in the offseason when we drafted JSN, probably. And Jake Bobo gets 23 snaps, and he actually had a good game. He caught a couple passes, had a couple big catches, actually. So he continues to be a relevant part of this offense. And Cody Thompson gets 4 snaps, just kind of picks up whatever's left over from the top 4 guys. Tight end. There was reduced usage of all 3 guys. In fact, you can actually see it's pretty much symmetrical. Fant had 31 snaps, Disley had 32 snaps, Parkinson had 33 snaps. And this is another one where you could argue the Seahawks jumped the gun. We have cross back, therefore we don't need to use tight ends as much. And we can see that that didn't work out great for us. Not only did we not have a great overall offensive game, but our other backup tackle, Jay Curhan, got roasted. So maybe this was a mistake. I don't know. I can go either way on it, right? Because now that it's Monday, I'm sure you guys have seen it too. You've seen the screenshots of, oh, look how open JSN was on this touchdown play. If Gino hits him, that's a touchdown. Oh, look at this one. JSN's wide open for another touchdown. Oh, DK's wide open for a touchdown. So it's not like players weren't getting open. It's just Gino was a little bit hesitant to hit him, and the offensive line didn't hold up even on a very, very low level. Like on the most basic level possible, the offensive line failed. So maybe you expect the guys to just be a slightly more competent than that, and you're a little more willing to put them out on islands. It's tough. It's tough. You don't get JSN running wide open for those 2 touchdowns if he's not in the game. So to a certain extent, maybe you just had to put him out there, and you saw the fruits of that. And you just didn't get him the ball. So this is a tough one, right? I don't know what the right answer is, but nevertheless, no tight end was in the game for more than half of it. Fant was actually the lowest at 31, which is interesting because I like what he's done mostly so far this year, but he's becoming the guy who plays the least of these 3 guys. It's kind of interesting. Offensive linemen, very simple. All of our starting offensive linemen played the whole game. 74 snaps for Cross, Brown, Haynes, Curhan, Bradford. Forsyth played 1 snap. And I don't know when that snap came. We must have gone jumbo one time, but I just didn't notice. So the offensive line actually held together for the whole game, which has not happened a lot this season. That's the first time all 5 starting offensive linemen finished the game. And I mean, that's cool. Obviously, the ones we had didn't play that well. Haynes and Curhan in particular got destroyed. The other 3 guys, I'll give them their flowers. Cross played okay. Brown played fine. And Bradford, according to PFF, actually played really well. But yeah, they stayed healthy at least. All right, now we're jumping on over to the defensive side of the ball here. And yeah, this is the payoff here. We had 54 snaps on defense. And the reason why we had so few snaps on defense is because the defense played awesome. Getting punts, getting a turnover, getting off the field. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't like, oh, the Bengals had 3 defensive touchdowns and a special teams touchdown, so their offense never had the ball because of that. No, it was because we were getting off the field really well. The defense played great, and this snap count, I'm telling you guys, I know we lost, but if we have that kind of balance in future games where we have 20 more offensive snaps than defensive snaps, we're going to win almost every game we play. It's just really hard to not win a game in that circumstance. So because of that, we really only played 2 defensive linemen a noticeable amount, and we were still able to maintain a pretty decent balance, right? Because Jaron Reed leads the team on the defensive line with snaps with 40. That's still really not that many. He can play 40 snaps in a game, no problem right now. So that's obviously a huge percentage of the snaps in this game, but it's not a problem because you only played 54. Draymond Jones played 38. And everyone else just kind of played whatever was left over, which was not that much. So these 2 guys are clearly becoming our go-to guys, and I thought both guys played quite well. And then you had Mario Edwards getting 15, Miles Adams getting 11, and Cam Young getting 5. So a pattern is establishing itself here. But the thing is, we've already shown a willingness to play Mario Edwards a lot more in games where there are more snaps. So I don't think you're going to get to a game where we maybe have 70 snaps and Jaron Reed and Draymond Jones are out there for 55 of them. But for this game, we could afford to do it. And, I mean, we stopped the run and we got decent pressure on Burrow and we stopped the Bengals offense in general. They barely did anything. After those first 2 drives, they did nothing. So, yeah, really cool, promising stuff here. Linebacker, very straightforward. We got Bobby Wagner at 54 and Jordan Brooks at 44. Devin Bush was inactive, by the way, which is interesting because you would think Radigan would be the inactive over him, but maybe we feel better about Radigan on special teams, and Jordan Brooks is playing well enough to where we feel like Devin Bush isn't necessary. but I'm still kind of surprised you would declare him inactive. I mean, we're still talking about a guy coming off a major injury in Brooks, no matter how good he looks. Excuse me. Edge rusher, pretty clear descending pattern here. Pretty clean. Nwosu plays 42 snaps. Mafe plays 30. Darrell Taylor plays 24. Derek Hall plays 12. For whatever it's worth, by the way, Nwosu and Taylor both got horrific PFF grades. I didn't get the sense that either guy was all that bad. Mafe got a good grade, and Hall, I think, got a pretty good one. So you can kind of see things clearly establish themselves here, where Nwosu gets the most snaps by far. Mafe, distant second. Taylor descends further, and then Hall picks up whatever is left. You can afford to do things like this in a game where you only play 54 snaps on defense. So in future games, I think you will see more balance, just because we'll have to have more balance, because 54 snaps in a game on defense is kind of rare. But for this one game, yeah, this makes sense. I know Nwosu theoretically didn't have a very good game, but I'm not going to put too much on that. Cornerback. Tariq Woolen and Witherspoon played every snap. I know Woolen is getting docked a little bit today because he did give up the 2 touchdowns and the 1 deep ball, the 1 pseudo deep ball, but I don't think he played that bad of a game, so I think a lot of it's going to be unwarranted, a lot of the things that are said. He played, you could maybe say he played bad in the first 20 minutes, but like that second touchdown, Burrow takes like 8 seconds before he throws it. Like, you're not going to cover any receiver for 8 seconds in the NFL. Not happening. And even the first touchdown was cover 3. So I'm not really worried about Woolen. Witherspoon obviously played a great game. Trey Brown plays 39 snaps, and he played an awesome game as well. And Mike Jackson picks up the rest with 8. No other cornerbacks got on the field. So we can see the trifecta, and it's pretty dang good. Like, this is a pretty nice trifecta of cornerbacks that we've got cooking here. I know I made a video already earlier today talking about it, but it's starting to bake here, for sure. And safety, Jamal Adams plays almost every snap, and the snaps he missed, I think, were just because we were pacing him, because it was his first full game. 46 of 54. Quandre Diggs gets every snap, and Julian Love plays 24 snaps. And I didn't notice Julian Love out there that much, and I mean that in a positive way. He wasn't getting burnt in coverage over and over and over again. So I'm going to take that as a W. I see that as a pretty good win. And nothing from anybody else at safety. So this is what I'm talking about. This is our healthy secondary ready to go in full for the first time this year. Woolen, Witherspoon, Diggs, and Adams played basically every snap. Trey Brown just gets off the field on rare occasion. And Julian Love gets on the field maybe a little less than half the time. Like, that's hopefully going to be a pattern the rest of the year, where we can get all those guys on the field that much. Eventually, Adams will probably be playing every snap, if we're being honest, or very close to it. So we've got something cooking here. And if the loss is getting you down too much, just think about where this secondary could be when we're playing much worse receiver cores than the Bengals. Every receiver core we play this year is going to be significantly worse than the Bengals. The only receiver core we play that is even close to them is probably the one we line up against in practice. And honestly, even that receiver core is probably not nearly as good as what the Bengals are bringing to bear right now, because they are that good. So be encouraged by that. Be encouraged by the fact that we finally have all these guys on the field. And those are your snap counts. So the big picture here, I'm not saying everything in the micro was perfect, but the macro is this. We had 54 snaps on defense and 74 snaps on offense. One more game like that, and we will be at parity from the offense to the defense, which, given how the season started, is remarkable. All right, I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Probably streaming on Twitch later tonight during the Monday Night Football game. More videos coming out tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by.